And what exactly, if you could tell us a little bit about what you're researching at this point in time?
Well, over the years, we have developed, having a special education teaching staff, we've developed actual teaching programs for children who struggle to learn to read. And it's a very, very common problem. In fact, some adults also have enormous difficulty with reading. We have students who come to us in grades 9 and 10 in the high school years who are reading at a 3rd and 4th grade level. So over the years, we've done research projects geared towards different levels of the school system, but really covering from grade 1 to grade 12. And we've developed programs and compared them to control interventions or to variations on an approach to measure in a rigorous scientific way what works and what doesn't work and what gets the best outcomes in helping struggling learners learn how to read. So it's been a very exciting time. We look at questions, what we have really obtained very good insight on how to help children and youth and young adults acquire the basics. How do you decode words? How do you read multisyllabic words that you'll come across in textbooks? And now my research focus is on how do you help kids who are struggling with all aspects of literacy become more fluent, understand better, be able to integrate information that they read. So in our research now, we're focusing quite a bit at middle school and high school, and with kids who are very, very far behind in their literacy skills when they come into the program, what are the combination of instructional approaches that will help them get the furthest with the times they have in the program. At the same time, in 2006, Sick Kids published our programs under the trademark Empower Reading, and school boards were able to purchase the program from Sick Kids and training for teachers on how to use programs properly, these particular programs that have come out of Sick Kids. So now our programs are running in 19 different school boards across Canada, and our program trainers on our staff are teaching, training, and mentoring teachers on how to use the approaches effectively with learners in their schools. So that's been very rewarding because it's taken what we've learned in our research classrooms and from our funded research projects and taken it out to the front lines, affecting many more children than we ever could see personally.
Right. And if you briefly want to talk a little bit about the feedback that you get from the children as well as the parents?
Well, it's very heartwarming to get feedback because we've worked, as I say, for 30 years to develop approaches like this, and it comes out of a discipline research tradition. But you hear from kids even in high school who say things like, "This is the first chapter book I've ever been able to read." And parents sometimes write and say that it really affects their whole life as a family because the older a kid gets struggling with some of these issues in school, the worse they feel about themselves. And as they come to see themselves as capable and able to do these things with the right teaching approaches, they kind of have a new lease on life and a new view of what they can accomplish.
Well, that's great. And today you're hosting a lecture at Queen's, and it's entitled "Struggling Readers in a in a digital age, what we know and what we can do. Can you give our audiences some insight on this topic?
Well, I'm going to talk about what a difficult task it is to teach a child to read, and how long-term an endeavor it is, that it really takes years to develop really skilled reading and requires a lot of expertise and knowledge on the part of the teacher. So I'm going to review what we understand of reading, ask whether or not it's really changed now that your generation and kids in school are able to access so much online and digitally. And does it affect what our struggling readers need to know to become better readers? And so I'm going to illustrate some of the techniques we use in our programs to help children of different ages learn how to read. And in the end, I'm going to talk about where we're at now with technology that can help teach people to read or to become better readers, and explore whether or not there are developments with new technology that could be crafted to be ideal for a struggling reader. And the answer is yes, I think so.
That sounds very interesting, actually. And if you could give one piece of advice to a student considering a research career, what would that be?
Do what you feel passionate about, and study with someone who is also a passionate scientist. Get a good mentor. Research is a wonderful career because here I've been in it more than 30 years and I'm still learning new things every day, every month, every year, and I find that really exciting. That's a real privilege to work in the area of ideas, but you have to feel passion and enthusiasm for your subject because research is a long-term proposition.
Yeah.
Your paper may not be published in the first journal you submit to. Your grant application may not be funded the first time you submit it. In fact, it's kind of unlikely. So you have to really have persistence and really be willing to pursue the topic in the long term. And so passion and discipline really help. But it's a great career path.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, and we wish you best of luck with the lecture to come.
Thank you.